Ever feel like you're sitting on a ball or there's a pebble that you're feeling like you're sitting on and it just feels really weird and tight? Well, this is not in your head. This actually means something. This video is all about exploring what that sensation's like, what is happening, and what to do about it to fix it. If you have not subscribed to the channel, consider this video and later on make sure you do. So let's begin. When you're feeling that sensation, like there is that tension that I mentioned in the perineum, just to clarify, perineum is that part of your body at the bottom of your pelvis where it's between the back of the penis or the vulva and the anus. So that space is your perineum, and the tension that most people feel is somewhere in that area. Typically, that's not the only place that the person feels it. There are other sensations that are accompanied by this tight feeling of sitting on an exercise on a golf ball, or that tight pebble sensation. So why is that happening is the question we want to ask, and here's the answer. The outside of your body has to provide certain amount of stability. It contributes to your stability. The inside of your pelvis, which is also musculoskeletal, just like the outside is, which by the way means it's voluntary muscle, has to work with the outside to stabilize the pelvis. Pelvic stability is so important because your pelvis is a foundation to the structure above, and when that foundation is not strong, well, the whole structure is in jeopardy. It is impacted by what's happening on the outside. That includes the lower extremities being connected to the pelvis at the hip joint, your spine being connected at the buff area, which is your part of your trunk, and essentially your whole trunk, your whole core is not just your abdomen, but it is your pelvis and what's connected to it, the part of your body that would be covered by a gymnastic leotard. When the stability on the outside is not there, the muscles on the inside of your pelvis try to keep the different sections of the pelvis together by tightening up. Now that's the beginning of the story here. That compensation pattern means now your movement patterns become dysfunctional because these are compensations. So they're not the ideal scenario, they're the compensations to what's happening or not happening, whichever way you want to look at it. When there is that dysfunctional patterns of movement that are taking place, every part of your body is impacted, and everything is part of the solution. For you to concentrate on just your pelvis, to try to stabilize it, it's not going to happen because everything else has changed its way of doing things based on what your presentation is. So lack of stability here is going to be the issue that we want to address. When there is that compensation pattern, part of that pattern of compensation involves your perineum. Now, your perineum is used for stability, but when you use it for movements of your pelvis or to stabilize your pelvis, and that becomes your sole area or main area that you rely on, we've got a problem there. Your perineum is to keep the inside of your pelvis inside and also hold the sphincters essentially. So when a person has tightness in the perineum, this is 100% a sign of unstable pelvis. So how do we go about change that? We first start by laying on the floor, which is not defying gravity, and work on our breathing, biological breathing. If you don't know how that's done, I'll make sure I put the biological breathing link at the end of this video, but please make sure you subscribe to the channel. This channel is all intended for you to understand what it takes to stabilize your body, your posture, your pelvis, not just for pelvic floor dysfunction, but for your postural stability, without which your pelvis, of course, now has to behave differently. So we first start with biological breathing, but it doesn't stop there. Now we need to bring back the functional movement into the pictures to replace the dysfunction. So number one, when it comes to pelvic floor dysfunction, is of course I look at the individual's lifestyle habits and habits, I should say. So there are certain things you're doing maybe at work that are feeding the problem instead of solving the problem. So all of those need to be addressed. No questions asked. But when it comes to the right exercises, for you to go ahead and isolate an area to try to stretch it, you're wasting your time, because you're not answering why it became tight. For you to go strengthen an area when stability is not there is like you making an attempt to build a nice structure over a swamp. That's not going to materialize either. So what you want to do is you want to use proper exercises to bring mechanics in place. What are those exercises? Those are the same movement patterns that you and I, without knowing each other, without anyone telling us what to do, as babies went through to build stability, to build coordination of movement, to then become running toddlers. No bands, no gyms, no weights. You have all it takes to fix the lack of stability. The issue is you don't know how to use it. And that's what this channel is all about. That's why I have a practice to help those people who actually need help. So don't think this is one exercise that's going to solve your problem, because you're mistaken. So I use the same developmental exercises to bring stability in. And most importantly, it is very, very important for you to understand what needs to be in place. What does right look like? What is your tendencies? How to replace yours with the right? And what to do when you accidentally lose the right. Does that make sense? So you need to hold that information. You need to hold that knowledge. Therefore, the interaction in my practice is all about transferring that knowledge to you, the holder, the owner of this body, with all the many opportunities to go dysfunctional in your movement patterns. I hope this made sense to you. Make sure that you understand. Subscribing to the channel is so important. And of course, contact me if you have any questions. If you have any suggestions for any more videos, please use the opportunity by commenting below, and I'll make sure I respond accordingly. Thanks for watching.